Pastor Jenice Podcast, moments of faith and inspiration. This is the perfect place for anyone seeking encouragement and inspiration from the Word of God. Join Pastor Jenice as she shares her wisdom and teachings on prophetic topics that are sure to enlighten and empower you on your journey of faith. With each episode, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the Bible and be equipped with practical tools to apply its teachings to your daily life. So tune in and let's grow together in faith and inspiration.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Pastor Jenice Podcast. This is your host, Pastor Jenice, and guess what? I am excited that you have joined us. So as people are coming in, we welcome you. We thank you for tuning in. I have another exciting episode, another exciting testimony. But before we even get into that, if you have not subscribe to the Pastor Jenice Podcast, I want you to go and do that now. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, wherever you stream your podcast, we are there. So make sure you look it up. Season 3 is specifically geared to testimonies. Listen, I threw a post out there a few weeks ago and said, hey, if you got a testimony and you want to share, make sure to connect. And I mean, we blew up. And so as you see, sometimes we're doing 1-2 testimonies a week, but it's been phenomenal. And today I have a special guest. She's no stranger to some of my followers. She's not just a friend. She is my sister. And I thank God for Alisha J. What does she not do? I think I should say what you don't do, and then we'll know what you do, right? But she is an entrepreneur. She's a makeup artist. She's a fashion person. I mean, she'll get you right. She is a business owner. She is a minister of the gospel. Just most of all, she's my sister. She's a woman of God. She loves Jesus. And so we're here today, and I'm super excited to have Alisha J on the Pastor Jenice Podcast.
Woo! Hey, y'all. Hey, I am super excited. First of all, let me say, I am so proud of you to my sister who keeps saying, all things I do, but she does a whole lot of stuff too. Listen, okay? She's the IT person. She gets us all the way right when our stuff ain't working right. Listen, she out here being a pastor. She out here being a prophet. She out here writing books. She out here, listen, okay? So if anything I've learned from my sister is to keep going, okay?
Keep pushing.
And in fact, I think she's like the first person I knew like had close, was close to that wrote a book and published a book. And she did this like years ago before everybody else and their mama was writing books. So, and I believe I still have that book upstairs in my collection. So, thank you, Pastor Borges. You know what? Do we have to have the formalities?
No, Jenice, J.
This is my sister. So, Jay. So,
absolutely.
All right. So, Jay, I've known for so long. And like Jay has said, we are truly, truly, truly friends, sisters. We have a bond that, not too many people can attest to. And so, I'm just so glad that God has called us to be in each other's lives. It has been an amazing journey and still is a great journey. And I just love seeing my sis be out here prospering and doing what God has called her to do. She brought the podcast back. She's, writing more books. She's got courses going on. So thank you for being an inspiration, Jay. I love you, girl.
I love you too. We just out here doing the God thing, right? Doing the God thing.
Amen. Yes.
Listen, this is a special podcast for me because I get to just I know your story, but my sister has a book and we're going to get into Unmarried Without Children, right? This is a powerful book. I read it. I could have read it in one day, but I had to stop because it was just a lot. So I picked it up, read it in 2 days. But thank you guys for joining. I see y'all coming in. Show my sister Alisha some love. Show us some love. And if y'all have any questions while we are talking and dialoguing, I want you to ask questions. We're going to be engaged in the conversation. But Alisha, so let's do this. First, happy birthday. She just celebrated a birthday, right? She's in the 40 club. Yay.
Finally,
In the 40
40
club.
fabulous.
And that's
40
crazy because
where?
we met
40
when
where?
I was 16, 17, right? So
Yes.
it's been years, right? So happy birthday. But listen, you have a story, and I believe that testimonies are important. The reason why I did this is because I feel that other people need encouragement in this day and time. And what better way to show people that they are not alone in their walk, in their journey, and we can gain encouragement from what somebody else went through. So Alisha, I just want to dive in. I want you to start wherever you feel like starting. We're just going to dialogue today and just tell us about your journey, because you found purpose in pain. There was a diagnosis that hit your life, that shook your life, that rocked your life. So we're just going to look at that perspective of how you walk through your healing journey and where you are today. So you start us off.
Okay. So let's start at the very beginning, because it's a very great place to start, right? Yep. So for those of you who don't know, and a lot of people are always shocked when I say this, Pastor Vita Blanding is not my natural mother. A lot of people are like, what? So much like her. And so, because when somebody feeds you enough, and that's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you're going to start looking like them, right? And I love my mom. God has truly blessed me to have a supernatural mother, is what I call her, in my life, because I know a lot of people who don't have that testimony that, their parent may have gotten remarried and their step parent was truly like trash to them, right? I don't have that testimony. My mom goes above and beyond, and we have our own testimony within that as well, but I won't go into that. But my natural mother, she passed away when I was 6 years old from leukemia. And so I believe that when she passed away, something in me broke. I didn't know how to express that as a child because I was 6 years old. I didn't really understand what
you didn't have language for it.
Yeah, there's no language. It's like, oh, she's here and then she's gone. And so I'm like, when I asked my father, I was like, hey, Dad, where's Mom? He didn't know how to express that to a kid. And so the best way he could communicate it was, she's on vacation.
Wow.
And he said vacation in heaven. And so I didn't know what heaven was, right? And so, my dad, again, did the best he could to break that down to a 6-year-old. But when I was thinking vacation, I'm thinking we going to Disney World, right? Because I'm like, hey, vacation, Disney World, Mickey Mouse, I'm 6, right? And so I never got the chance to really grieve as a child. The death of my mother. And so I didn't, of course, that showed up really crazy as I got older. And so what that showed up as was abandonment. I've been dealing with rejection issues, been dealing with perfectionism, because I'm always trying to people please. I'm always overthinking because I'm like, again, this person was gone. So today, tomorrow, everything is black and white for me. It's really hard to, find the gray areas. It's absolute. At some point in time, I had a hard time forming relationships because I was afraid that somebody was going to leave me.
And that was friendships and
romantic relationships, or I was super clingy. And I was always trying to perform, right? I need you to stay. So if I perform, you're going to stay. Like if I do all the things you want me to do, you're going to stay. I would stay in toxic relationships for no reason, because I was just afraid of being alone, and did not realize this was tied to the death of my mom.
Wow.
And all of these things were showing up in my adulthood. And again, recently still dealing with these things. That's why I always say it takes Jesus and therapy. Okay, y'all, listen, I am not opposed to going to a therapist. I love my therapist. She goes in. Okay. She knows Jesus for real. Okay. Listen, she cast out demons and all kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. The Lord put us together. I was like, thank you, Jesus. But all of that to say, not only that, I was dealing with that as a child, and then I was molested as a child. So I'm dealing with all of the emotions, the demonic forces that are tied with molestation, having to forgive the person who molested me and then led that person to Christ. Listen, that's a whole nother testimony in itself. So to go through that journey as a little child and then grow up my whole life wanting to be married. Like I had a kindergarten wedding. That's how much abandonment and the need to be wanted. Because I thought marriage was the answer to the void I was trying to fill my entire life.
Gotcha.
And I'm so glad that God did not allow me to get married yet. Because
so you was that little girl that had the dress picked out, the colors picked out, the dream wedding already picked out.
Yes. Frills and everything. Every time somebody got married, I'm talking about my wedding. I had the vision board. I had the notebook. Listen, in the 7th or 8th grade, my brother went in my room, of course, because that's what siblings do. And he found like some little piece of paper I had written down, like the names of my children with the little guy that I had a crush on at the time. Yeah, so that's how serious marriage and family was to me, because I felt like if I created my own marriage and family, and I'm learning this as I'm an adult, right? I'm learning this as an adult. I didn't know this until recently, but going back and seeing this, if I created my own nuclear family, it would fill the void that I experienced losing my mother, and then also correct what had happened to me as a child.
But it's all still coming from a place of brokenness.
Broken. Super broke.
Yeah.
Like glass on the floor, shatter broke.
Yeah.
So and this is why it's so important to heal, and it's so important to get into your word and have a relationship with God, because God will begin to reveal these things to you so you can address them so that you can be healed and whole. Absolutely. And some people go through this healing process while they're married. God has given me the grace to be able to do this outside of marriage. Now, I still desire to be married. Listen.
Sure.
But in this book, I talk about all the foolishness that I have gone through trying to get down this road called married life. Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get there. And a lot of things I didn't even put in the book. I almost paid $2,500 to date. Yeah, $2,500 for a service to date that did not guarantee I was going to get married. I was like, this ain't it. Been in exclusive clubs, speed dating, all the online apps, been out here. I threw out a little leg at Home Depot. Like I had my little cute short shorts on at Home Depot. Listen, I've done it all. Listen, there's probably nothing that you can bring to me that I have not done to get to the point of marriage. And so, threw it out to God and praying, and I wrote the list and put it on the vision board, and I even bought a wedding dress. I got a wedding dress sitting in my closet right now.
Wow.
So listen, you can't. Whatever you said, I've done it. Okay. I did it because, again, I was more focused on getting married to avoid what the void was. And avoid the problem.
When did you, what age, what happened, what got you to that point? What clicked? You said, I need to talk to someone about this, or something needs to shift and change in my life.
I had a breakup with a toxic relationship. Not all of my relationships were toxic, but I had a crazy toxic relationship. And we both were toxic. Okay. So I'm not faulting him 100%, although he was crazy. I really do think he was bipolar. Okay. But and I had gotten to a place where I was just like, I'm tired of going through this same cycle. So again, I met with a therapist who again loves the Lord. And we began to unpack things. And as we were unpacking things, I realized we were talking about, my mother's death. And I started crying, and my therapist said, "Is this the first time you're really grieving your mom?"
Wow.
And I was 37.
Wow.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, 37, 38.
Wow.
So this was recently.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I really have not like
I've
sat down.
never sat down and grieved.
Yeah, and grieved. And grieved in my own way, right?
Yeah.
And so when I started realizing that part, and then my brother also was a big part of it because he had been going through some things as well, and began to become more self-aware as well, and so that kind of put me on a trajectory to begin to get more self-aware. Even my mother now mentioned it. She was like, Alisha, you need to grieve your mom. And I was like, oh, I already grieved her. Da-da-da. She was like, yeah, how about that? Yeah. So, and that kind of started that journey of, I need to really heal from this. Because it's got a chokehold on me.
And it's showing up in different areas of your life.
It's showing up in different areas of my life as different things, right? I'm afraid to let go of you, even though I know you're hurting me, because I have a fear of rejection. I have a fear of abandonment because I felt like my mom abandoned me. I feel like she didn't fight for me. So when people don't go all the way in for me, they don't validate me, then I feel like you don't like me at all. So it's like complete rejection. And it's like, no. And even now I'm still having to say to myself, you know what? Because somebody didn't answer your phone call doesn't mean they're rejecting you.
Right.
Because somebody didn't answer your text right away, Alisha, they're busy. You busy too. You forget to text people back. Like, girl, stop freaking out. So, I still have to have those kind of conversations so I can get myself off the ledge and realize that people are human just like I'm human.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's dealing with the death of your mom. It's showing up in relationships, showing up in different areas of your life, trying to overcome rejection or overcoming, but having to still have those conversations to check yourself. So then how was it? And I know you talked a little bit about dating but how long did that last? Are you still like in that process, or are you like at a place where I'm cool with being by myself? Yes, I desire to date, but I'm cool with being by myself and learning myself and, doing my businesses. How is that now for you?
Of course, I still desire to date and to marry and to have companionship. Well, I say communion, but I mean, it is a communion as well. But have companionship. And I desire to, operate as a wife. And I'm like, Lord, help me with this because I've gotten to a place where I'm comfortable being by myself. So I'm I literally walking up the stairs today, I was like, oh, I got to shift my mind because at some point I'm gonna have to incorporate somebody. I can't do XYZ when I get married, right? So it's being comfortable in where I am, still desiring to be married, but also being aware that there are certain shifts that I'm going to have to make once I do get into that position of wife. And plus there's a wedding dress sitting in my
that
closet
needs to be used.
that needs to be used. So, and the story behind that, God had told me to buy the wedding dress, and I assumed that it was with my ex-boyfriend from 2021. And when I went to the bridal store, we had broken up at the time. So I'm literally going in here with all kind of faith because I'm like, first of all, I ain't even got a real man. I don't even know what we doing.
Yeah.
And then secondly, who got the money for this dress?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Look at that guy. Like, you said buy what?
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Finances look like. So, and he didn't say just buy any dress. He wanted me to get the dress that I loved. Like, I was like, this is it. And I had a couple of friends that went with me. We did the whole say yes to the dress. I got the pictures, I got the video, like I got all the things.
Wow.
And so when the lady was helping me, she was like, so when's your wedding date? And I was like, I don't know. And so she was like, how are y'all doing? I was like, I don't know. So I literally took her to the side and I said, I am literally walking this thing by faith and not by sight. She was like, oh, yeah, I get brides who do that all the time. I said, no, you don't understand. Like, I don't even really have a man. Like, I don't really have somebody I can like solidly say, this is the man I'm going to marry. Even though in the back of my mind, I was like hoping it was going to work. I was like, okay, this is the man. I know he's a man of God, but I'm coming in here. I don't know what I'm doing. I look real crazy, but you know, I don't have no date. I don't know. Yeah. So, you know, went through all the things. When I picked up the dress, I was by myself.
Okay.
And so it was hard because I was like, you know, they're wanting to celebrate and be like, girl, yes. And I'm like, girl, y'all know, like, because at this point we had finalized that we were done.
Okay, pause,
and
Alisha.
So
pause,
I
Alisha,
was,
because there's people that's just joining. And I want to catch them up. Y'all, welcome to the Pastor Jenice Podcast. Show us some love, engage in the conversation. But listen, Alisha is now sharing a part of her testimony where she actually was dating someone. They broke up, and she went and got a wedding dress. So she's out here stepping by faith, a whole wedding dress, nobody to date, and no wedding date, y'all. So then, okay, finish. This is good.
Yes. So I pick up the dress, and you know, they're celebrating me, and they're like, da, 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 and at this point I was done with the dude. Like, I'm over it. Like, you done, this is it.
Yeah.
So get the dress, and then the Lord was like, I need you to go on this fast. So I went on this fast, started praying, and of course the dress is in the closet. He said, pull the dress out. And he said, what you're going to do is you're going to take this dress, and for the Valentine's Day celebration, you're going to present this dress. Now, mind you, not many people knew I had this dress. Only like 2 people knew I had this dress.
Okay.
And so 3 people, sorry. So I took the dress out, and he said, the dress was never for you. It was for someone else. And so I was like, okay.
I done spent all this money.
That's an expensive gift, right? So, and then of course, you know, as we know, when God is speaking, he doesn't always give you like the full picture. And so as he was speaking, he was saying, you're going to, basically it's a rental. And so every time you have the Valentine's Day, you're going to raffle off the dress. And then that person, whenever they get married, they have the option to wear the dress. Then you're going to etch their name, like have their name and the date of their marriage etched into the dress. So this is going to be like a community dress. And so I was like, oh, okay. So somebody did win the dress at the Valentine's Day event. I won't mention their names. We're still waiting for the wedding day. But it was just a testimony of, if God was saying to me, if I can trust you to purchase a dress for someone else, imagine what I'm going to do for you. Wow. Like, if you can humble yourself to be like, this is something that I desire, but I want to see you win. Like, I want to see somebody, I want to see my sister get married more than I want to see myself get married. Yeah. How much more is God going to give me the grace to wait until that happens, right? And it's the obedience, because like I said, I didn't really have the money for this dress, and I'm still paying for the dress, to be honest.
Right.
And I didn't have, you know, a boyfriend. I didn't have a fiance. I looked really silly. And I know that when we are walking by faith, God will have us doing some really weird things, right?
Yep.
Really weird things. Yep. But they don't make sense until God puts the sense on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was, you know, this is still my journey of, you know, being still wanting to be a wife, still declaring that I am going to be married. I know that I was created to be a wife. And God is positioning me in certain ways, and y'all will hear the testimony when it happens. That's all I have to say about
absolutely. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
So, you know, the pain of your birth mother passing away when you was young.
And this is for you too, sis. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Go for it,
yes. Not being able to grieve because you didn't have the language to. It's showing up in different relationships, different parts of your life, rejection, dealing with all of that. You know, you go through therapy, you have a relationship with Jesus, you know, all of this stuff. And then you get a diagnosis.
That part.
You get a diagnosis that rocks your world. Totally rocks your
Yes.
world. So bring us to that point. Let's talk about the diagnosis and then what was birthed out of that place.
Absolutely. So I had to start at the beginning because I wanted y'all to understand how much I value marriage and family and how much I idolized it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I had to stop doing, was idolizing it. And so when I was 34, mind you, now my grandmother, she had 14 kids.
Jeez.
So 14. And she actually mentioned something to my supernatural mom, because I think the question was, to her was, have you ever miscarried? And so my grandmother said, I don't know, because I was always pregnant.
Always pregnant. Couldn't tell you.
So, and my grandmother was like 4'11", 4'10", like a little petite little thing. So yes, so I value marriage, I value family, and I just assumed because my grandmama had 14 kids, I was like, oh, she had her last one when she was 40 years old. I'm straight. Like,
yeah.
Teach you the right stuff in sex ed. They basically tell you how the babies are made, and don't y'all have sex, or you may, use protection. That's all they tell you. They don't tell you that when you are born with every egg that you are ever going to have in your life, right? And so at 34 years old, I, first of all, did not realize something was wrong until my cousin said something. Because when I got my cycles, I would always have hot flashes. Every time. That was like the indicator that I knew my cycle was about to come on. I'm burning up. Okay, cycle's coming on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything abnormal. And I think one day I was on my radio show at the time, Church Girl Reality, and I literally started having a flash on the camera, and my cousin was like, "Cousin, are you okay?" And I was like, "Let's cut to commercial," because I thought I was about to die. I was so hot.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, well, it's probably time for me to go to the doctor. So I go to the doctor. I go to my primary care doctor, and she checks my thyroid. She checks my FSH levels, which are the levels that tell you whether or not you're going through menopause.
Okay.
And then she checked my AMH levels, which tell you how, which predict what your egg reserve is. So when she got the results back, she said, okay, Alisha, your thyroid is fine, but your FSH levels are abnormal. So anything over 110 is perimenopause. You're going into menopause. I think mine was like 100 I think it was 110.
Okay.
And so at 34, for most people, menopause happens in their 50s, blah, 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 blah. When I heard that, I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, you're kidding. She's like, no, I'm not. And so she's like, yeah, and then you need to go get your AMH levels checked, because I don't believe this number that we're looking at is right. Okay. So I said, okay. So then I went to my OBGYN. My OBGYN, she was like, okay, we did the levels, da-da-da-da. Now, mind you, both of my doctors are believers. Listen, I'm all about having kingdom people all up in my business, because I know they up in the business with God, okay? Because I need believers around me who could pray, because, So I went to my OBGYN, got my levels checked. My OBGYN personally called me. And she said, Alisha, because I have a personal relationship with her. She said, Alisha, your levels for the AMH, so anything less than a 1, and it's in my book, I can't remember specifically, but anything less than a 1 means that you don't have enough eggs. I was at a 0.03, y'all. 0.03, not 0.3. Yeah. 0.03.
Wow.
And so at 34, she was like, you're in perimenopause and you have pre-ovarian failure.
Wow.
And I sat on my couch. I was sitting on my couch. And at this time, I had lost my job. So I was already depressed because I'm trying to find a job. And I had delayed. No, I hadn't lost my job yet. Sorry, this was before my job. I lost my job. And so I sat in the room, and my best friend was pregnant with my first godson. And I was, I love him to death. He's just a joy. And I didn't want to call her because I didn't want to stress her out, but I was like, I need somebody to talk to. So I called her. She was out of town, and she was gracious enough to answer the phone. And we were on the phone, boohoo crying.
Wow.
Because I was like, everything that I ever hoped for, everything that I was working towards, everything that I ever wanted is now not available to me. Like I felt like it was taken away. And I said to God, I said, first you take my mama, now you're gonna take my ability to have a child away too. Like, what we doing, God?
What
like,
are you doing?
What are we
doing? Yeah.
And I was mad. I was mad about it.
Sure.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't be mad at God. I was like, well, I
can handle it. He can handle it. Yeah,
I was straight in my feelings, right. And it wasn't like I was cussing God out or, that type of thing. I wasn't cursing God and dying, but I was not feeling it. And, I would go to church and do the regular things. Then also around that time, for those of you who know, my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So, we were going through a lot of things right there.
Just getting hit.
Right. I was going through a lot. I don't know how they were handling everything, but my mental capacity was like, this is a lot. And so the doctor was like, okay, well, you have this option to try to freeze your eggs or freeze whatever's left. So I was like, okay, hopefully there's something there. So I'm hoping. I sent y'all text messages. I was like, yo, we praying for 10 follicles for like 10 million eggs. Like, yo, yes. And so for those of you who don't know, the follicle holds the egg. And so you want the egg. So you want as many follicles because they're not going to do, I don't think they extract anything less than 10.
Okay.
And mind you, freezing your eggs is not cheap. It was like $12,000. When I started this process of trying to freeze my egg, I was unemployed. I had no job. Okay. Not even a little bitty job. Like I was living off of severance pay at this point.
Wow.
And I had delayed my process because I wanted to make sure that my dad was straight, and I don't want us overlap stuff. So this was February of, I believe, 2019. Go in, and mind you, when you're freezing your eggs, so I do want people to understand that you literally have to trick your body. So, and this goes with if you're freezing your eggs, going through IVF, going through there's going to be some type of hormone therapy that they're going to put you on. For freezing your eggs, I had to shoot myself in my stomach 4 times a day with right. Jesus, like, nah, player with hormones. And so now I'm not afraid of needles.
Sure.
And the needles are really small. So I was okay. And then I must say, it actually worked out that I was at home and didn't have a job, because then I could keep up with the schedule of having to do it 4 times a day. Because if I was at work, I would have to leave like the meetings and go and inject, because it was like a scheduled thing. You had to do it at a certain time.
Jesus. So it was really like it was taking over your life. Like,
yes, literally taking over my life. Like you have to, like, when you're serious about having these babies, like it's like a whole thing. Like when people say they're going through IVF, I commend them. When they say they're going through any type of procedure, I commend them, because it takes a lot of dedication. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. It's like all the things, right? So, did that for a week. They said, okay, come back in. We're going to take the ultrasound, see how many follicles produced, and then we're going to see if we're going to extract them. Gotcha. So this was a Sunday morning. I went in to get my ultrasound, and the reproductive the ultrasound tech, or the technician, I could tell in her face that something wasn't right, because when she looked at me, she was like, but she can't say anything. By law, she can't tell me anything. So I go to church, get into church, see that I had a missed call from the doctor. I go into one of the offices, call them back, and she says to me, Miss Blanding, we are canceling your cycle.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there, because this is one of the parts in the book, y'all. This is my sister's book, Alisha J, right? Unmarried, without children. Alisha J. Make sure you copy. We're going to tell you how to get it. But when I was reading it, this is where I was like the whole book is really good because it is her testimony. But the word cancel changed my life. It stung, but it also gave me purpose. Lord have mercy.
Listen.
And you're in church.
So, when I walked back in, my face was like all discombobulated. And so, at the time I was going to my parents' church. And so my mama could see me, my dad could see me walk back in, and my mama just knew. Y'all, we had an altar call. I'm at the altar just like,
yeah.
Now, mind you, the hormones that they put you on literally alter your mood. And so the reproductive doctor that I went to, they literally send you a list of therapists because they know that you're about to go crazy coming off of these hormones, because there's nothing to counteract it. Like, you are injecting your body with all these hormones. You're trying to get this follicle, blah, blah, blah. The nurse told me there was no follicles. When I had my follow-up, the doctor said we found one. So I was like, all right, we're going to praise God for one. A whole one follicle. We just can't take no eggs out of it. That's fine. We got a follicle. The Lord knows. So mind you, at this point, I don't think I had a cycle. Probably, yeah, because I hadn't had a real cycle, because you have to have a cycle in order for you to do the ultrasound, like to do the hormone therapy.
Gotcha.
And so I wasn't really having regular cycles at this point. So after she said we canceled it, I went into a deep depression. It was chemically induced and emotionally induced.
Wow.
And so I didn't have money to go to a therapist. And let me tell you, when I tell y'all, this is why I love my doctors. This is why I love my doctors. Let's just say they was looking out for your girl. Went to therapy, was in there crying. Like, I mean, it was all the things. I was like, what's happening?
Jesus.
And I felt the life leave me. I'm mostly a vibrant. Y'all know I'm loud. I love to have fun. I love to kiki, ha ha. I couldn't kiki. I couldn't ha ha. I couldn't praise. I didn't want to get out of bed. My mama literally had me come to the house and lay in the bed at her house. And she came and she, made breakfast for me and took me out of the house because she saw the depression on me. It was so hard. And for those of you who have never been in a depressed state, because I've been depressed before, but I know how to. I'm a high functioning person.
Yeah, but not that place where it shuts you down.
Shut me completely down. And again, I'm grateful that I was unemployed, because I was able to properly heal and not have to like dredge myself out of bed to do work. But it felt like, if y'all have ever seen the movie Get Out, it literally felt like The Sunken Place in Get Out. I felt like I was at the deepest, darkest place that I have ever been in my life. I didn't want to do the things that I love to do. I couldn't laugh. Like, how somebody would crack a joke and it could have been hilarious. I couldn't laugh. There was no life in my eyes. I would be looking dead at you and be somewhere else. And it was a really hard place to be in. And I don't ever want to be in that place again. But it took me wanting to get out of that place. Getting out of that place.
Sure.
Not many people can say, and when people say, oh, just pray depression away, I'm like, boo.
You got to work at it.
You got to work at that. And some people need drugs. Let them take the drugs, okay? Leave them alone. They drugs. Some people. I was fortunate enough that God heard my prayer. Like, I literally went. We had our annual Women's Day weekend, women's conference, or at the church. I did the fashion show. My testimony was read. Everybody was crying. I was crying. Everybody was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And that night when I went home, I turned off the light in my prayer room because I had a prayer room in my apartment that I also was my office. I turned off the light. I lit a candle, and I said, God, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be in depressed state. I want myself back. Like, I want to be able to be that person, because the fact that people were seeing that I was depressed, because like the musicians at the church were like, are you okay? Like, no. And I honestly said to them, no, I'm not okay. And I literally got my deliverance that night. It was just me and God. Nobody was laying hands on me. Nobody else was speaking tongues over me. It literally was me and God in that room, in the dark. And I said, listen, I don't know what has to happen, but it need to happen today, because I can't live life like this anymore. And so February was when they told me they had canceled my cycle. March is when I got delivered from depression. And then again, I had lost my job, so I had to move back in with my parents. That's a whole nother testimony. And then I was able to save. And during the time when I was at my parents' house, that's when I started the Motherhood Foundation. That's when I started advocating for women and telling them more about, your body and how you need to know before you get to this point in your life. Don't wait so late to do things.
Is that where mind your own uterus was birthed out of?
Yes.
There's your t-shirt.
Yes. So my teacher says mind your own uterus. And so as we were coming into on my radio show, we had a Mother's Day special, and mind your own uterus is actually what came out of it, because you never know what a woman is going through in her fertility journey. You don't know if she has fibroids. You don't know if she had a hysterectomy. You don't know if she was raped and couldn't have children. You don't know whether, she's going through perimenopause. You don't know if she, got endometriosis, all the things. And so we were like, you know what? Stop asking me about my uterus. If it's not yours, don't ask. Especially if you a man, don't ask about my uterus. It's my uterus. So mind your own uterus. So that's where that came from. And I remember God telling me, because I remember asking or having a moment, and I was like, God, why me? And he was like, why not you? He knew that he could trust me with this. He knew that I would turn this around and have it be something that's victorious in my life, and not something that's going to keep me down. Now, mind you, I had to grieve my womb, and I talk about that in my book. I talk about grief and how it's more than just grieving the loss of a loved one. It was literally the loss of my dreams of being a mom and how that looked for me.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I've always had the desire to adopt, so that wasn't anything new for me. But I had to go through all the stages of saying to myself, okay, this is not the plan that I had for my life. Being married by 25, having my first kid at 27, 28, having my twins by 30, being done, and living in the big house with the white picket fence, and my husband is super rich, so I don't even have to work. Was not the life that God had for me.
Sure.
And I had to divorce that. And people don't understand that in itself is a grieving process, grieving your womb, grieving what you thought that God was going to do for you. And he changed it, but it still gives you purpose, even throughout that process.
That's literally saying, like Jesus said in the garden, Father, not my will, but your will be done.
100%.
And it comes with things that you don't really necessarily agree with or want.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And y'all, here's a quote from the book. She says, my story of pain slowly became a journey of triumph. Wow. So do you feel like you are in that season of triumph, of you because you start talking about the stages of grief and all of that, the reconstructions and the working through that healing process? So where are you in that reconstruction process?
Okay, so I'm no longer in the anger phase because I told you I got angry.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in the depressed stage. I'm no longer in a place where I stay in, sorrow. Now there are moments where I'm like, oh, I see another birth announcement. I'm like, oh, I really want to have kids, but I don't stay there, right? Because I'm now in a place where I'm able to share and help educate women. So any opportunity I get to do that, that is a moment of triumph for me. If I can share my story with someone and it helps them, when I get a message, like when I get a DM or a message or a text message or an email and somebody says, your story helped me.
Jesus.
Your story has educated me, and now I'm going to share this with like my sister-in-law, or I'm going to share this book with my cousin. Because so many women are going through these things, and a lot of them don't know who to go to.
They don't have any outlet, so they're dealing with this by themselves.
And so anytime I can share my story, even the person who even my editor for my book, she's unmarried without children. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I need this book in my life. So she got it for free because she edited it. But she was like, she was educated in so many different ways. So if I can educate you, if I can help you along your way, that actually is something. And as I'm saying this is something that's actually revelatory to me in this moment, is that just being able to touch the life of one person is amazing. And if I can touch the lives of many people, that's amazing. I want to be able to share my story so that people will know that, they are not alone in this journey. Jesus. So yeah.
That is so good. This is so good. I'm enjoying this conversation, and like, we're sisters, so we can talk forever. But
that's true.
So what would you say as we're about to wrap up? Thank you guys for joining. I see y'all in the chat. Some of them are throwing those faces like wow and oh my goodness. So what would you let me say this. What have you learned from this journey that you've been on, right? What have you learned? And then what can you say to someone who may be watching, someone who may be listening on the podcast later, that's dealing with, let's talk about the rejection aspect of it, grief, and relinquishing your will to the will of the Father. Ooh, I know that's a lot. So first of all, what you learned?
One thing I have learned is that God is in control. Ooh. Every day, all day, God is in control. Proverbs, it says man makes plan, but God gives it purpose, right? And it's okay to make plans. It's okay to have something lined up because you have to have some kind of order in your life. But at the end of the day, always converse with God and ask him if this is where you need to be. And God will either show you that you're on the wrong path. He either going to take you off that path, or he's going to tell you that it's not the path you should be on. So that's one of the things that I have learned, especially with me being an entrepreneur. I started getting into the coaching business, and I literally have business meetings with God. Like I literally sit down and I'm talking to God. I'm like, okay, God, what are we doing? And I had come to a place in my business where I was like, God, this isn't working. And he said, everything points back to the book. And I said, what does that mean? He was like, everything points back to the book. So when even though I had the idea to go in a different direction to, try to do something, he told me even with that, he said, this is what that's for. This is what this is for. And everything points back to the book. And so you have to realize that nothing is wasted, because that's in the Bible too. That's right. Nothing is wasted. All things work together for the good of us who love God and are called according to his purpose. That's and right. I want y'all to remember that the important part of that is called according to his purpose. Yes. So when you are walking in purpose, God will make everything make sense. He will connect the dots. Everything will line up with the calling that he has for you on your life. And so I have learned to surrender to the unknown. My cousin said it the best: surrender to the unknown. And
Jesus.
it has been a journey. It has been scary at times. It has been very uncomfortable at times. I have had crying matches with God. We've been been screaming,
Yeah.
walking the floor, you know, and I just talked about how it has literally brought me to my knees more than I have ever been in my life.
Yeah.
But in that, I have learned that my relationship with God is number one and top priority. And if I prioritize that, God will provide everything else that I need.
That's so good. I hope y'all got that. I hope y'all got those nuggets, the wisdom that she's sharing. Surrender to the will of the Father, but still talk to him. And like I say, even when it comes to my business, I learned this from one of my coaches. She always says Holy Spirit is the CEO of this business. So I always start my day when I'm planning, like, all right, Holy Spirit, what are we doing? What do you want to see done?
What you want to do?
Yeah, what do you want to see done? What do I need to work on? And so that's amazing. Yeah, yep, Martisha, yep.
Yes.
So if there's a young woman that's out there that's dealing with this, they're dealing with, and not even just young women, of course, for the physical part and having children, yes, but someone dealing with rejection, someone dealing with depression, because you really put emphasis on that. What do you say to them? Do you tell them, you know, just stick it out with Jesus? Do you tell them to find therapy, get help? What kind of advice do you give to a person that's dealing with these things?
Have a talk with Jesus first. Have a talk with God first, but you also need to surround yourself with a community of people who love you and who want to see you win. And then again, you know, certain types of depression can be chemical and emotional. And some depression is spiritual, because, you know, the demonic works as well. So as you're praying, ask God for wisdom on where you need to go. Do I need to go to the doctor? Do I need to see somebody who's an exorcist? Do I need, like, you know, do I need to go see the pastor? But make sure you're talking to people. I know that it's very hard to do that when you're in a depressed state, to talk your feelings out, to tell people, hey, I need help. Ask for help. Ask for help. And if you are a friend who sees somebody who's going through depression, help your friend. I don't care how many times they reject you, help them, because they need help. They're going through. The other thing is rejection, right? When you're dealing with rejection, and this again has been a thing that I've had to overcome and still am overcoming, but I know that at the end of the day, don't take everything so personally. Sometimes the rejection is God's protection. And I remember God saying this to me so clearly.
Say that again. Say that. You can't just...
The rejection is God's protection. I sat in the floor. Let me tell y'all something. When I say God, can I say that? Can I talk to them about this? You releasing me? Okay. So listen, this is how I talk to God. I gotta make sure I can tell him. So God had me go on this fast. He literally had me laying on the floor in my closet for 21 days. Y'all, I got a 3-bedroom house with beds in it. And he said, no, I want you to lay on the floor. Let me tell y'all, the first couple of days, your girl was struggling because I didn't have enough padding on the floor. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? But, but it was a humbling experience, and it made me get into a position where I could hear God clearly for myself. And it took me, he said, I'm taking you from the bottom and I'm taking you higher, right? So I had to have that experience so I could hear him. And as clear as day, he said, the rejection is your protection. I'm protecting you from something else. So if you get rejected, do not use that as a place to say I'm not worthy. of a place to say that people don't like me,
That's
of a
good.
place to say I'll never be anything, because that's what the devil wants. He wants you to feel like you will never be enough.
Yeah.
That's not what God is trying to tell you. God is saying, I'm keeping you safe from something, and that rejection should propel you to the next level. You say, like, for instance, if a publisher says no to you, you know what? That's fine. You're not the publisher I need to work with. I need to work with a different publisher. If you're looking for a job and a job sends you a rejection letter, that's not the job God wants you to be at. You need to look at another job. If you, if your parent has rejected you, you know what? God will deal with their hearts.
Yeah.
And you go find somebody to be your spiritual mama.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
good. So do not allow rejection to stop you from making progress, because that's exactly what the enemy wants. Because the enemy already knows that there's something on your life. He doesn't always know all the details, but he knows when it's something on your life, and he's trying to distract you from getting to that point. And if rejection is a part of that, depression is another one, anxiety is another one, overthinking, people pleasing, all these things are being bombarded into your mind. So that's why we have to cast down all imaginations that come against the knowledge of God and bring them into captivity of Jesus Christ every single day.
Every day.
So you going through rejection, baby girl, let me tell you, God is protecting you. Do not sit in rejection.
Yeah. That is so good, y'all. I threw that in the chat. Your rejection is God's protection. I know that y'all have gotten something out of here. Thank y'all so much for joining. I'm looking at the phone. I'm looking at the comments. But this has been wonderful. Alisha J, my sister. So listen, before we close, I want you to tell people, how can they get the book Alisha by Alisha J, Unmarried Without Children? And I love the name of the book. I'm telling you, everybody we've been having on here, they got books, they got all this stuff. So tell us how we can connect with you and how can we get the book?
Yes. So you can connect with me. Everything that I have is All Things Alisha J on all social media, All Things Alisha J. If you want to join our private Facebook group, there's a link on allthingsalishaJ.com. You can purchase the book on allthingsalishaJ.com. You can get the Mind Your Own Uterus t-shirt on allthingsalishaJ.com. Everything is allthingsalishaJ.com, and Alisha is spelled Alisha. Okay, y'all? So my parents wanted to be special and make me special because they knew I was going to be special when I came to this earth. So allthingsalishaJ.com, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I believe I'm on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter, Threads, everywhere. I'm All Things Alisha J.
Awesome. This has been so great. Listen, if you joined late, make sure you go back, listen to this. Soon as we are done, we're going to upload the audio to the Pastor Jenice podcast. Again, make sure you're following. Make sure you have your notifications on so that you know when we go live. Make sure you are on Apple, Google, iHeart, Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts, we should be there. But we thank you for tuning in tonight. We want to make sure that you tune in next week. We have another awesome testimony from Jessica Johnson, who came out of a life of prostitution and human sex trafficking. Wow. It's powerful. Yes. So we want you guys to tune in, make sure you're staying connected. And then this Friday, tomorrow and Saturday, we're having our prophetic intensive training. So if you have not registered, go ahead and register because it's going to be phenomenal. And so we'll see you on Friday. But thank you, Alisha, again for sharing your story with our audience, and we know it's going to be a blessing to someone who hears it.
And thank you for having me, Jay. I love you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing what God is doing in your life. Love you, sis.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Until next time.
Thank you for joining Pastor Jenice. Take time to visit the website jeniceborges.org and subscribe for our newsletter. Check out our available courses, books, and other resources. Please consider supporting our global missions projects. We will see you next week for more faith and inspiration.